There's nothing like watching some Boxing Day football. That's so sick. Unless you're a Manchester United fan, then you kind of just want to delete it all. Just delete, just alt control, delete everything, right? And then you're a Liverpool fan and you're like, bro, can we run it back? Like, this is amazing. Like, keep these games coming. We're having the time of our lives as Liverpool fans, man. We have so much to talk about today, lads, honestly. And I want to start it on a positive note and something we really should talk about. The whole season we've been talking about and the summer, how great Lamine Yamal is. Lamine Yamal is phenomenal. What a guy. Unbelievable winger. So good. Rafinha, wow, man, what Flick has got out of this guy. He's a top-tier winger, probably the best winger in football. Vinicius Jr., wow, Ballon d'Or. He should have got it. He's so great. This guy's amazing. He brings joy to football. Best winger. And then there's Mo Salah, who is actually should be the best winger, considered, talked about, known as the best winger in the world. Salah is playing football at the highest level. And for years, he's been doing this. And for years, people haven't acknowledged how great he is. Whether Messi and Ronaldo or Hazard or whatever were playing so no one saw it, Mo Salah is one of the greatest footballers of our generation, and we should talk about him more. Because this guy is just a wild, insane player that gets stats after stats after stats after stats after season, and people just don't give him the recognition he deserves. Matter of fact, Liverpool right now is about to make one of the biggest mistakes as a football club if they let this guy walk for free. He's on his finals. I don't think they've renewed up his contract. This man needs to be paid and needs to be the highest paid player in the Premier League because he deserves that money. And yes, I know his age is getting up there and I know it doesn't matter. Mo Salah is a phenomenal player and he's one of the biggest reasons why Liverpool is having this unbelievable success this season. And he's one of the biggest reasons, I don't care if anybody gets mad at me for saying this, why the manager transition went so well. Everyone knows, every Liverpool fan knows that Klopp is a phenomenal manager, an unbelievable manager. And when he left and a new manager steps in, it could have been a disaster. But a manager came in with a great philosophy, a great strategy, great everything. And then he had Mo Salah. And it was just easy transition. Because of having players like VVD, like Mo Salah, the standard that these players are and what they bring year in, year out, made this transition easy. And Liverpool is having a season to remember, dude. They're top of the table with a game in hand over Chelsea. Matter of fact, real quick, congratulations to Chelsea, even though they lost to a season you guys are having, because no Chelsea fan can be mad. They are having a beautiful season compared to what they've been having for the last couple. They've really turned that organization around, which is just an amazing thing to watch. But going back to Mo Salah, if they don't pay this man, I start thinking to myself, like, where could he land? And like, could this guy end up being the right winger at Real Madrid, right? Could this guy end up being a Barca player? Could this guy, where will this guy end up? And because he still has a lot of football in him. And I just think it's crazy. I can't see him anywhere else except for Liverpool. I just don't see Mo Salah playing anywhere else. I personally can't see it in my brain. It doesn't, I can't see him in a different jersey. So I hope they get the deal done because for me, he's a Liverpool player, Liverpool in and out, man. And I think he should end there. I think that's, where his career should remain. I hope he remains at Liverpool, man. He's just that great of a player. But congratulations to Liverpool and congratulations to Mo Salah, bro, for putting together a beautiful season. I know the man's not getting the recognition that he deserves. He's more in the media for things that he's doing and celebrating more than he is his football. And we should really just celebrate the football that he plays because the man is a phenomenal football player. Let's get to a little bit of the not so happy side. Manchester United, what a mess, dude. How do you all control delete it all, man? It is a mess. I started seeing memes about how Ruben Amorim, if you guys don't know, Ruben Amorim is a huge Benfica fan. He played for us. He grew up a Benfica fan. He's just a massive Benfica fan. He said it. He's said it multiple times. When he took over Sporting, he told people like, hey, look, you guys know I'm a Benfica fan. You guys know I've supported Benfica my whole life, but I'm here to do my job. And he went to Sporting and he did a great job with them. He took the Manchester United job, and now people are saying he's trying to get fired there so he can go to Benfica. That's not the case. The facts are this, lads. is that Ruben Amorim is trying to put his 5-back system in place, and he doesn't have the players for it. More importantly, Manchester United doesn't have the players for many systems. Because in my opinion, and I kept saying this to people and people didn't want to hear me out, and yes, I am still going to blame Ten Hag, okay? So you guys can get mad at me if you want. Ten Hag bought terrible players. I hate to say it, bro. He bought bad players for They're great players, but they're bad players for Manchester United. Start to look around, bro. Onana has more mistakes than he has great games. I'm not saying Onana is the full problem. I'm just saying he has more mistakes than he has great games, okay? There was really, if you sit down and really think about it, De Gea had a lot of mistakes in him, but he had great games in him as well. So you kind of have the same thing in Onana and De Gea, and I'd probably maybe even argue that De Gea is better. That's not the thing. I don't think the keeper was ever the issue at Manchester United. They said they wanted a player that could play out the back with his feet. I don't know if you really got that. Regardless, we moved to Anthony. That guy's just not for the Premier League. He could have been great at Ajax. In the Premier League, he's not that guy, okay? Same goes for Martinez. A phenomenal center back. A lot of people said he would fail because he's not tall enough for the Premier League. I think he's just failing simply because the team around him is just not really built for him. But at the end of the day, maybe you can argue Martinez was a great signing. I would never say great, but another sign that's kind of weird. Malacia, the list goes on of players that were brought into this club with Ten Hag that just don't make sense, okay? That just don't actually work well. And now you're going through the process of a new manager that needs to find a way to clean this up and build his system, but he can't build his system with this player. So it's just a nightmare because supposedly Manchester United has financial fair play problems, so they can't just go sign whoever they want. They have players on crazy salaries. We know the issues with Marcus Rashford. It's a mess, lads. It's a mess, a mess, a mess, a mess, a mess. And I want to point a finger at a player that a lot of people will probably get mad at me for pointing because they're gonna be like, man, he's our only good player. Bruno Fernandes. I'm Portuguese. He's Portuguese. I love the guy and I wish the best for the guy, right? But the truth is this. You cannot have 3 red cards in a season as an attacking midfielder. You cannot have 3 red cards as the captain of this team. You cannot have 3 red cards when your team is struggling this bad. And 3 red cards for a center back or something like that, you're like, but 3 players for kind of more of an attacking midfielder, right? He defends, but like, let's be real. At the end of the day, that's just not acceptable. You know, it's just not acceptable. And it's really not acceptable to get 2 yellows in a game against Wolves that really you want this game. You need this game. You're in a bad funk. You need to get out of it. And you go and get a red card and put your team in a terrible situation. Bruno Fernandes absolutely ruined this game for Manchester United. Before Bruno went out, yeah, Manchester United wasn't creating many chances. Nothing was really happening, but you're still in the game. The moment Bruno Fernandes goes out, the team's already a struggling team. Now you got them going up against Wolves with less men. That's just not fair for what Bruno does to his teammates. And that's what this entire team is set up right now as. It feels like a team that these players don't do enough for each other, right? And we can keep blaming managers. And the reason I wanted Ten Hag out was not because of the results. The reason I wanted Ten Hag out was because he had a problem with every single player. Every single player. From Ronaldo to Rashford to Garnacho to this guy, to that guy, to that guy, to this guy, to De Gea, to this guy, to that guy, to this guy. And yes, I do think there's problems with all of these players. I really do think there's problems with all of these players. But I also think that some of these problems were created because of Ten Hag as well, right? Just creating the culture in that locker room for the last 3-4 years just hasn't been a good culture in the locker room. And it's going to be very hard to clean clean it up, right? It's going to be extremely difficult to clean it up now. So in my opinion, do you start to blame Ruben right away? No, we all known it's been the players for a long time, right? The problem that I had was, okay, Ten Hag, you've had 2-3 years, 4 years of signing players. You didn't bring in good enough players. We got to try somebody new. And that's why Ruben's there. So I think you got to give Ruben a window or 2 to kind of see what he can do. And if he can't do something with those windows, then it's time for him to pack his bags up and go as well. But you can keep rotating managers unless you let a manager come in and completely clean out what's there. And I'm talking about clean it out, lads. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, all these guys, I've been saying it for years, bro. They got to go. Just clear it out, bro. If you can get money for Bruno, sell him. And I know people don't want to hear it, but guess what, bro? Where Manchester United is on the table, not one player deserves to be on that team. Not one player deserves to wear that shirt. So you might as well sell everybody. Garnacho, anyone. It doesn't matter at this point. And it's no disrespect to any of those players there, but it's not working. And if it's not working, it's more important than Manchester United getting out of this, being even close. They're closer to the relegation zone than they are to the top pretty much, bro. Like, that's not a situation that any of those players deserve to be at that club anymore. So if Ruben turned around and sold every single player that's on this team, I don't think a Manchester United fan should even look another way. The only one that deserves to be there is Ahmed, if I'm being honest with you, right? So at the end of the day, I think you really just let Ruben clear this thing out and bring in players that he needs to bring in to make this work out. And I want to give you just an understanding of how important players are to Ruben Amorim. Sporting was undefeated this season under Ruben Amorim. They beat Manchester City 4-1, which is Manchester City struggling. They hadn't lost a game in the Portuguese League. They hadn't lost a game in the Champions League. They were in the top 5 in the Champions League. Since Ruben Amorim has left, they've barely won a game, and the manager that took over after them has been sacked, and now they have a new manager because not anyone can run this 5-back system. It needs to be certain players and a certain manager. And it is very, very important for that because the way Ruben Amorim runs the system is when they attack so well that it shifts and it becomes like a 3-back, but really kind of like a 2-back. But then when sometimes a 4-back, and then when they're defending, it's a 5-back. It's a crazy system that takes a lot of over-the-top through balls. The center backs need to be able to send good through balls to the front. It takes a system where everyone has to run for 90 minutes. If you even look at since Ruben Amorim left Sporting, Gyökeres, who I believe was the best number 9 in football up until Ruben leaving, he ain't even scoring the way he was once scoring. So Ruben Amorim's system is extremely effective system with the right players. And even when you have the right players, the players need Ruben Amorim because his system is just so unique to him. And just like that year that Napoli was cooking in that 3-back, it was such a unique formation, unique tactics, unique manager, unique everything that once you start taking 1 or 2 pieces out of it, it all falls apart. So what I'm saying in Manchester United is for Ruben to really build what he wants to build, you're going to have to give him the players that fit exactly what he does. Otherwise, it's never going to work. And if Manchester United board people up top don't accept that, they might as well sack Ruben Amorim right now because it is such an important part to his system to have the exact right players in the right positions at all times. Otherwise, it doesn't work, lads. So at the end of the day, it's a tough situation for Manchester United. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come of it. But I can tell you right now, it is a brutal situation for Manchester United, bro. It feels more like deleting the club than anything else because it just feels like everything is a mess no matter what manager they go through. But again, in my opinion, Ten Hag left a very, very big mess, a huge mess.